Hi guys, this is future Jason coming to you from my home garage here in Napanee, Indiana. Hey, I'm back from LS Fest East. I had a great time. It was so epically amazing that I thought that I just had to make a video about it and bring you guys along. I'd at least tell you about some of the really cool and epic things that happened. So here we go. I went down to Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's about 390 miles away from here. I did it by myself. I didn't have anybody riding with me or anybody following me. And that was kind of stressful because I've really never been that far with a car on a car trailer behind me. And I've never really kind of went to this big of an event. Cletus and Cars Indy is actually a smaller event than LS Fest East by a long shot. Not even close to the same event. So I made it down to Indianapolis, to Brownsburg, to my sister's for Friday night. I got up early Saturday morning. I hit the road, made it to Bowling Green at about noon. I got my registration. I had to park the trailer outside of the venue and I had to drive my car through. And, you know, not a big deal. I got an Elco, so I just throw everything in the bed. But I really didn't have a place to pit. And I was walking around looking, and I knew some of the FSI guys were there. Nubs and Mason and Mike and Ryan and a whole host of others that I still don't know. But I walked over and I talked to them for a little bit and I told them kind of what was going on. They were like, well, heck, you're pitting with us then. And I was like, I don't know. Like, let's just face it. They have some really nice, there's a third gen and a Trans Am and a fourth gen. And their cars are way nicer than the Elco is. Like, infinitely beautiful cars, fast race cars. And they're like, yeah, just pit with us then. And I'm like, okay. So I walked about a mile from where they were pitting back through the event to unload the Elco, throw all the stuff in the bed of it. And I got to drive it through the gate now. And so I drive it through the gate and you're driving down this little path and there's people walking because it was raining. It was kind of wet and rainy. So they didn't want to walk in the grass, so they're walking on the asphalt. So you're trying to, like, I don't know, try not to run people over that step in front of you. But it is what it is. So I made it down there and parked. And I would like to say that I just hung out in the pits with them. But you guys know me. I'm a little nervous. So I kind of just sat around nervous. I walked around a lot. I looked at a lot of cool things. I talked to some of the other Burnout competitors. Really cool guys, really nice people. Absolutely everybody I met there was super nice, super kind. Yeah, it was really interesting. And then I went out and did an absolute amazing burnout, probably the best burnout that I have done in the Elco. I'm going to bring you some video footage of that. That's one thing I do have video footage of. So we'll go through that video footage of that. And then, yeah, just an epic time. Like, I can't believe like how good it went. So yeah, here comes some pictures of what I did take, and then we're gonna jump into that video. big a hurry. Oh man, you can just see how nervous I was before that burnout, just pacing around, and oh man, it was a stressful day. And man, the burnout itself, I went out into that pit and I started out in second gear. It came right up, started bouncing off the rev limiter, and I just smacked it into drive. I didn't think I was actually rolling when I did that, but I was. I kind of want to sit there and let it get up into drive and, you know, have it come out. And then I kind of center a little hard there, guys. I took a lot of speed into that tip in, and I let it go a good distance into the pit. I was in the you know, the back 1/3 or the back quarter of that pit before I really got to whipping it sideways. And I think that was kind of my fault. You know, this is where I need to do better as a driver. I didn't leave myself a lot of exits. I basically pushed the car all the way to the far end of the pit, and my only real way out was to come back through the smoke. And what ended up happening is I kind of got down there and I kind of got caught in the smoke. I hit that barrier. Nobody likes that barrier anyway. A couple people had run-ins with that exact barrier. But I hit the barrier, and then I kind of came back and I got stuck in the cloud, and I just disappeared. And as much as I disappeared into the cloud, the entire pit disappeared from view of me, so I couldn't see to get out of it. So I did what you do, is you just put your foot to the floor and you kind of just slowly move around in there and just hope what you hit isn't a wall. So I did that. The asphalt surface, if you kind of look at the asphalt surface, it was really coarse, and it blew those tires really quickly. From the time that I stab the gas to roll into the pit to the time I pull my foot off of the gas is right at a minute. It is 60 seconds on the dot. And those rear tires were flat. Those rear tires had popped before 60 seconds. That's really impressive. The Elco is running strong right now. The setup is absolutely ripping tires apart. I just got to do better on my part and drive a little better. I really love the crowd cheer. Like after I got done with that, man, I could hear that inside the car, and you can hear it in the video. And man, that was like the coolest moment ever, is when the whole crowd is cheering for you doing a burnout. There's nothing like that, guys. And then I took it out of the pit, and I had to go over and see the fire guys. They wanted to make sure that I wasn't on fire, and I wasn't objecting to that because I've caught the car on fire multiple times. I carry a fire extinguisher just like this behind the driver's seat at all times. Even when they say that I can't have it, I have it because, well, you don't know when you're going to catch on fire. But, you know, I had to go see the fire guys. And then I went and parked the Elco. And the old guy over there said, hey, get your people and get your tires and get them changed and get out of here. And I was like, you know, my stuff's way over there in the pits and it's like a half a mile away. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I'm starting to freak out trying to think of how I'm going to get 2 tires and a jack and a Milwaukee impact all the way back, you know, from a half mile away all the way back to where the car is. And I shot old Nub a message, and I said, hey guys, can you help me get some stuff over to the car? You know, I got to get it out of there. And it wasn't but 10 seconds later, my phone was ringing. It was Nubs on the other end, and he's saying, where are you at, man? We're on our way. And I was like, oh, that felt so good to know that, you know, some people were going to help me, because that could have been a really sucky situation. And they come flying up on the golf cart, and I mean, they jumped off the golf cart and they were hooping and hollering, and they were more excited about the burnout than I was, and I thought it was a really good burnout. So, you know, they were really super stoked on it. They thought it was really cool, and, you know, that kind of felt good because I kind of hung out in the pits with them all day, and I was kind of explaining to them that, you know, it's a burnout car and this is what we do, and, you know, don't expect great things out of this because there's Aussies that are here that are like way better than me. And, you know, I kind of may have underhyped it just a little bit, and, you know, and then just in case the car didn't do good, because it's had a couple of, you know, bad burnouts this year. You know, I haven't had the greatest of confidence in it yet. And man, did the car ever just like do its best job it's ever done in a burnout pit. And, you know, those guys got to see it, and those guys were all just, you know, stoked on it. They were just like, that's the coolest thing ever. So, that's really, really, really awesome when, you know, people invite you into their pit, and then, you know, they become like your biggest cheerleading section, you know, after the burnout, and, you know, they become your pit crew to help you, you know, shuttle tires and tools, you know, half a mile away to the burnout pit to get your stuff and get it back. And then after we got the car all back to the pits, they, you know, said, hey, come, let's go watch some drag racing that's still left. And we went and watched some drag racing that was still left. And then they're like, hey, let's go over to the campgrounds and hang out, you know, over there. And we get over there, and they're like, hey, there's some food and you need to eat some food. And man alive, what I really needed was to get to sleep. And, you know, one of the guys, Mike, he was like, well, I'll run you around and help you get the last bit of things done at the end of the day. So he, you know, drove me over back to the pits and then drove me back to my trailer. And the nice guard at the shack let me drive my trailer in. So I put my truck and my trailer in the pits kind of over by where they were. And, you know, I got up in the morning and got out of there. And it was a long drive home. I did stop at Buc-ee's on the way home. And, you know, I stopped at Buc-ee's, and there were some guys standing outside of Buc-ee's, and they were like, hey, man, that was a hell of a burnout last night with the Elco. You know, and they really dug it too. And they were, you know, saying I did a great job. And it was like, you know, it's great when you like just see somebody completely out of the blue say, hey, I saw your burnout and you did an amazing job. You know, that's really cool. It's great when, you know, people you know say it, but like when complete strangers say it, it's really cool as well. So, you know, as I was saying, like, it was a really great weekend. It was a really great burnout. The car did a great job. I need to do better as a driver. I was very lucky to have some people who took me in and helped pit crew for me. The drive down was very uneventful. The drive back was uneventful. You know, it went off great. Um, Even Burnout Wars, you know, Holley live streamed it, and that was available out there. And then, you know, just today, I was sitting at home. I only had the video of the front of the car, the GoPro shining on the pointing at the motor. That's the only video I had. And I got a message in my inbox on my Instagram, and they said, "Hey, we're going to send you a link to a Dropbox." And they sent me a link to a Dropbox, and there were, you know, there was 4 more videos in there and some really good pictures of my car in there. And you know, I can't thank Burnout Wars enough for that. And you know, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody to thank, but I mean, it was just it was an epic weekend of a lot of people helping me out of just the kindness of their hearts. And you know, it made it something so much better than it kind of could have been. It could have been, you know, a horror show, but it wasn't. I dread on the negative sometimes, and you know, it's really nice when everything goes great. So you know, it was a cool event. I hope you guys liked the video. Thank you for following. Thank you for, you know, subscribing. Thank you for, you know, the motivation and the comments below. You know, this is why we do these things, man. Like going to an event, and it's not really about the event. It's about the people you meet, and you know, the friends you make, and stuff like that along the way. So, you know, keep that in mind. It's not about, you know, I didn't get first place, I didn't get second place, I didn't get third place, but you know, I got some friends out of it. So that's way better than any trophy I could have got. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end on that. Yeah. Till next time, guys.